What's the most incomplete fighting game that was released that you guys can remember? We've had in recent times games being released that what people will call bare bones. It's like it seems like I got 5 characters, a training mode, and 2 episodes of a story. It seems like that can be happening nowadays. So what is the game that was like just released the most bare bones in your opinion, starting with you, Mr. Game and Lift?
Street Fighter 5. That's my answer. Street Fighter 5. When that game first came out, it was just like, bruh, what a content at though. Like, ain't no like story. Like, we got these steel frames for story mode. Like, it took like months to get a story mode. Like, bruh, like we had like 16 characters. Like, no modes. You got like survival mode to get colors, but it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's if I had to make a list of the 3, I would probably say, I want to say Grand Blue, because Grand Blue was pretty bare bones. Super small roster, and on top of that, an already released season pass for characters. Like, so what you're saying is you're gonna give me 2 characters, but you already got an announcement you're gonna release these other ones when you could just put them in the game in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. But for me personally, I would say Street Fighter 5, because the fact that, like, come on, man, you gotta this Street Fighter, you gotta come with it, and you come out with this just bare bones at first, just bare bones.
You said like, top 3. Was you gonna give a third? Did you have a third one?
I'll probably say, I wanted to say Marvel 3, because I mean,
yeah.
No. Let me take that back. Not Marvel 3. I'm gonna have to say Infinite, MBCI Infinite. That would probably take precedence over Marvel 3. Because I think was that combo trials in NBC Infinite? At least Marvel 3 had combo trials.
I don't know. I didn't play that game.
I don't even think Marvel Infinite had combo trials. So you just like, it's just battle options online versus, like, what? Yo. And then a roster that was already like pretty bare bones. But Street Fighter 5 got to take it from me, man. I just feel like that game was kind of incomplete, just with the content, the whole the story mode thing for sure. Like, giving us these little bits and pieces, these steel frames, and then like the story mode came out and was still like, okay, like we had to wait for this. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Street Fighter 5 can kick rocks at launch, and still can.
Yeah, at launch. Yeah, it's funny. I kind of agree with you on Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 5 was pretty like bare bones when it came out. But you know what? I know a lot of people might disagree with me. You know what game I didn't really like on release? And this is just for personal preference. I didn't like Street Fighter 4 on release. I thought Street Fighter 4 was kind of, I mean, it's like when people say vanilla Street Fighter 4, like when they mean vanilla, they mean like the most like blandest of bland vanillas, like the kind of like off-brand like ice cream at the store that like nobody buys, because that's how I felt about Street Fighter 4 when it came out. I played it for a little while and I was like, you know what? I don't really like this too much. And I know a lot of people might disagree, and that's fine, but I didn't really care about Street Fighter 4 until after they came out with like Super Street Fighter 4 or in like Arcade Edition and stuff. Like, I didn't care about Street Fighter 4 until after they came out with the subsequent versions. But I mean, like, I wouldn't say that it's like necessarily like, I wouldn't say it's like bare bones, but it was definitely kind of bland, I would say. But as far as like bare bones games, I would say, yeah, like Street Fighter 5 would definitely be like, it's kind of stripped down. Like, this is the bare minimum we can put out. And I mean, I remember one of my buddies was saying that like basically Street Fighter 5 had to come out before it was ready, because Street Fighter Cross Tekken was supposed to last us for a hot minute, but we all know what happened there. So, it's like, well, I mean, Street Fighter Cross Tekken died, and now we got to put this thing out here, push it out before it's ready to be put out there. So, I mean, it's I mean, I mean, like it is disappointing, but I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like, I mean, it's a lot. It's a desperation move, you know. In some case, it feels like kind of like it's like a desperation move where they're like, well, we got to put something out here because the other game just isn't hacking it. We don't have time to start making a completely different game. Just put Street Fighter V out there, man. And you know, so I mean, it didn't come out like definitely not in the way that it should. I think perhaps we would probably say that technically speaking, Arcade Edition is probably what they wanted to release in the first place. But you know, you do what you got to do, man, to like keep your industry alive. So you know, out comes Street Fighter V in whatever form they had it in, and hopefully, like they don't make a mistake like that again. I mean, I'm not sure what you would do. Like, what could you possibly do in a situation where you have another game? Like, let's say Street Fighter 6 comes out and Street Fighter 6 tanks like Street Fighter Cross Tekken did. Like, what would you do? What do you do in a situation like that when you're like, I mean, what would you do in a situation where like that? Like, you know, I mean, like I guess you would probably have to do the exact same thing all over again. Hopefully, we never have to see that again. But yeah, like. Yeah, I would say, yeah, Street Fighter V was pretty bare bones. I would say that's the most bare bones game I think I've played, but not the most blandest. Street Fighter 4, I think, would take the cake on that one.
So when Marvel 3 first released, was it very bare bones when it first released?
I would say so.
It was pretty bare bones. I would say like the worst thing about Marvel 3 for the most part was pretty cool. The only thing I didn't like about Marvel 3 was the online lobbies. I think that was possibly the worst. Like in recent memory, it's the worst online lobby I've ever seen in online fighting game history. Like it's like even when when they put Third Strike online, even Third Strike had like they did the online edition that had like spectator lobbies. But then you come on like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and that's like one of those games that people have been waiting for ages. And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 had already been online at that point. Like it already had been on like Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, I think at that point, if I remember correctly. And those had spectator lobbies. Then you come on to Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and there's no spectator lobbies on release. Made no sense.
Yeah. What was I about to say? I think they had like combo trials. They had like the heroes and hero mode, like the card game type thing, where you could like have different abilities and stuff with the characters. So they had a little something, but it was pretty bare bones.